Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Shifarao Lako. Do stay with us. The Ethiopian government disclosed that the Ethiopian National Defense Force, ENDF, has taken control of some urban areas in the Tigray region. The statement released by the government communication service indicated the ENDF will endeavor to avoid fighting in urban areas. The maximum care the ENDF has taken thus far has succeeded in protecting civilians from harm. The defense forces have taken control of the towns of Shire, Alamata and Koram without intensifying fights in urban areas. The ENDF has averted the grim scenario some have predicted by echoing TPLF's propaganda. The government is carrying out the necessary preparations and will coordinate with the relevant humanitarian agencies to provide humanitarian aid through these areas that have come under the control of the ENDF, including via the Shire airport. The government, in coordination with humanitarian operators, is making preparations to expand the routes through which humanitarian assistance could be transported. A concerted effort is underway to open the North Gondar route to Shire as well as the Kombolcha, Dese, Wolda, Kobo, Alamata routes. These preparations will also include technical assessments and some of the groundwork needed to restore services to the conflict-affected areas, it said. Moving on, the 547-seat parliament held its second year first ordinary session and discussed several draft bills to be scrutinized for further approval. The lawmaking body approved the agenda of its first year 16th regular session, and the motion submitted to it for endorsement of the parliament's speech on the joint session of the two houses last week. Based on its major agenda, the House also thoroughly discussed the draft proclamation to approve the loan agreement signed between Ethiopia and Italy for the implementation of the Health Sector Transformation Plan and referred it to the Plan, Budget and Finance Standing Committee for further assessment and approval accordingly. The House also deliberated on the draft proclamation set to approve the loan agreement between Ethiopia and the International Development Association IDA and referred it to the Plan, Budget and Finance Standing Committee for approval. Meanwhile, the Parliament also deliberated on the draft proclamations to amend the national payment system and regulate the framework of public-private partnership and submitted them to the concerned Standing Committee for further assessment and endorsement. Parliamentarians stressed the need to foster the public-private partnership to further stimulate the economy and step up development endeavors with active participation of the private sector. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has paid a visit to Gondar and reviewed the progress of the Gorgora development project. The Gorgora tourism development site is one of the 3 prospective tourist attractions being undertaken under Dine for the Nation initiative. Kasaun Chane has more on that.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has so far established a national committee that mobilized funds for 3 tourist development projects in Amhara, Oromia and Southern Nation nationalities and people's region states. Gorgora, which is located in Amhara region state at a close distance from the city of Gondar, is one of these tourist attractions. During a visit, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen said that Gorgora, as areas found around the basins of the Lake Tana and is naturally gifted in Earth's resources, is believed to attract dozens of foreigners coming to Ethiopia, noting it can connect development corridors.
በጣና ተፋሰስ ጎንደርን ከባህር ዳር
Within the basins of Lake Tana, the Tana Eastern and Western development paths will be connected with Gorgora. Here, the northern part of Tana's destination will be Gorgora and Tana's southern part destination will be Bahar Dar. Thus, it should be noted that if the Gorgora and Bahar Dar development corridors will be joined together in such a way, it will be considered as eating a dine together, and that's the goal.
ትርጉሙና ጥልቀቱ ከዚህ አኳያ ነው።
The Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister also stressed that the Gorgora development project has been accelerating beyond the expectation of the government. The nation is found in all ups and downs.
እዚህ ሀገር ብዙ ችግሮች አሉ። በብዙ ችግሮች ውስጥ ሆኖ ደግሞ ትልልቅ ስራዎችም እየተሰሩ ነው። ይህ ሀገር የማይሸከመው
In this nation, there are a wide range of problems, though the government has been undertaking various tremendous efforts concerning accelerating developmental activities. There are internal conflicts, external pressures created by the global community, and many more problems. Despite that, recently we have built a science museum that is one success, and the end of this Gorgora development project is also another success.
አሁንም ደግሞ እንዲህ አይነት ፕሮጀክት ቢወጣ ወደ ውጤት ማብቃት ሌላ ስኬት ነው ማለት ነው።
Other high government officials who have paid a visit also said that the project development vividly indicates the success of unity, standing together practically, noting the crucial role of the project will have paramount importance to attract tourists.
ለኔ እንግዲህ ልዩ ትርጉም አለው እንደ ዘርፉን እንደምመራ አንድ ኃላፊ
For me, it has a meaningful understanding as I am leading the tourism sector. All done for the nation projects are very special because they can depict Ethiopia's greatness as they are being constructed with high standards. This area is naturally gifted, and if we add such a destination in such a way, it will be interesting to attract the tourists, and I very much hope that we will be productive.
አንዱ የዚህ ጎርጎራን ፕሮጀክት ሳይ እንትን ያለኝ የመጀመሪያው ኢማጂን ማድረግ መቻሉ ያንን ኢማጂን ያረግነው ነገር ደግሞ በተግባር ለመለወጥ
When I visit Gorgora, one thing that comes to my mind and surprised me the image from the very beginning, and after that when it comes to the practical implementation. The difference in politics is no matter what should be a good culture. Within such national development activities, it is a must to stand in unison. And this project shows us we can do many things ahead if we stand for solidarity.
ጧት ማታ እንዴት እንደሚባላ የሚያስብ ሳይሆን እንዴት የሚቀጥለው ጀነሬሽን ደግሞ ከኛ የተሻለ እንዴት እንዲኖር ማድረግ እንችላለን ብሎ ማሰብ የሚችሉ
It was said that the implementation of the Gorgora project is in good progress. It was also indicated that Gorgora will be a good example for investors, the regional government and federal projects to develop other destinations that will improve the region's tourism activity and benefit the country.
Well, the viewers, let's now turn our attention to trending stories over the past 24 hours, and I'm joined by my friend Goshu Maliso. He's going to tell us some of his observations. To stay with us, Goshu, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Shpi.
So, can you walk me through some of the observations that you made over the past 24 hours?
Yeah, over the past 24 hours, many things have viral in social media. The Ethiopian government on Monday announced that it wanted to control the key parts or control airports and other federal facilities in Tigray region to ensure territorial integrity and sovereignty of the nation. Also, the government said it is important to avert the hostile of TPLF and its allies controlling key facilities in Tigray region. The government also advised civilians to distance themselves to avoid casualties. This is expected from one responsible government, and it did that. Following this, UN General Chief General Antonio Guterres and other Western powers expressed have-hearted concerns as if they are concerned about human rights and other things. This has been viral in social media over the past 24 hours. The General said, he said that the situation in Ethiopia is spiraling out of control, he claims, as the TPLF is being said. So this is rejected by the National Security Advisor for the Ethiopian Prime Minister, Redwan Hussein. He said that the federal government is awaiting a new date from the AU. We remember that the AU-led peace talk, which is assumed to be held in South Africa, was delayed due to logistical problems. So here he said that as things are going as scheduled, not as the Chief General or Antonio Guterres said. So he said that things are going well, and we're expecting the new date from the AU for the peace talk. So he rejected UN's chief claims of spiraling out of control. The conflict is not spiraling, he said, as opposed to some who would like to paint Ethiopia's image. He tweeted that in his Twitter message. So things going on as planned, as scheduled, and avoid casualties. And some key parts, as the government announced yesterday, are under control by Ethiopian government. So in general, all these compels or all these efforts are just to give safe way for the TPLF and to save TPLF, and to give an oxygen for the TPLF and to strengthen its muscle and just stop Ethiopia.
You know what, Gush, you're talking about the Secretary General Antonio Guterres. He seems to be so vocal about supporting the terrorist TPLF at the expense of the federal government. What have you observed in this regard?
Yeah, if you remember, when the TPLF is advancing to the capital last year, we didn't hear such concerns about to stop these hostilities, right? So their concern is it is half-hearted. It's not genuine concern, because their target or their aim is to just to save the TPLF and its oligarchs in order to give safe way and in order to strengthen their muscle and save back Ethiopia. This is their concern. They are not really concerned about human rights. They are not concerned about humanitarian aid. They are really concerned about their allies, or to save the TPLF and to give additional oxygen and to give additional preparation for the TPLF. How long Ethiopia will be just stopped by Ethiopia? I mean, this oligarchs or the TPLF terrorist groups. How long will it continue? So they do not want to Ethiopia stability and peace. They want to stay Ethiopia in long diplomatic pressure and under the guise of peace talk and under the guise of humanitarian aid. They want to pursue their hidden agenda by supporting the TPLF behind.
Yeah,
this is what I have observed last time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome back. You're still watching Addis News Hour. Members of the Council of Ministers underline that the Gorgora project will serve as a source of income to the community over and above, creating job opportunities for the youngsters. The ministers made the remark after visiting the eco-lodge rooms being developed by the government at the new tourist site Gorgora area in the state of Amhara. Being developed between the historic city of Gondar and Lake Tana, the upcoming Gorgora natural tourist attraction site is expected to be completed soon. Have a listen to this.
Gorgora is a historical place. It has sufficient water and fresh air. Similarly, we have prepared standardized accommodations to tourists. I hope many tourists will visit the project as it provides all necessary services to the guests. It is in the center between the people of Bahir Dar and Gondar. To incorporate dining services to the people visiting the site, it needs to work on agricultural practices around the project. There is sufficient water so we can irrigate the land.
ለሱን ለማድረግ ደግሞ ይሄው ሀዚህ አለ
እዚህ ቦታ ላይ ልዩ የሚያደርገው የፀሐይ መውጫንም የፀሐይ መግቢያንም ሰንራይዝ እና ሰንሴትን ማየት ይቻላል እዚህ ቦታ ላይ ሆኖ
What makes the area special is that we can see the sunrise and sunset from the project sites. What surprises me most is that the quality and the standard construction beside us is endowment with natural beauty. I hope the project will be a leading tourist destination not only in Ethiopia but also in Africa.
The project is being constructed keeping its natural beauty. I witness the project will serve as a source of income for the community as well as for the country when fully completed. Construction workers are mostly women and the youth. It will help empower their occupation and make money for their living. It will create job opportunities for many people when fully completed.
ያላቸውን አቅም የሚያጎለብቱበት
Welcome back. Now, the Ethiopian government has time and again reiterated its willingness to hold peace talks and maintain ceasefire. The government was plunged into the current hostilities when the TPLF broke the ceasefire and invaded Amhara state. Thus, Addis Ababa said it would continue taking proportional military operations accordingly in the restive northern region of Tigray. This has come a day after the African Union called for an immediate end to hostilities there. Daniel Kasaon has more on that.
There are urgent advices being heard from many sides on the proportional military operations being taken by the federal government of Ethiopia against the rebels in the northern region of Tigray. Against this backdrop, the African Union Commission chairperson Musa Faki Mahamat has called for an immediate and unconditional ceasefire in Tigray. In addition to the African Union, the United Nations, the United States and European Union have expressed concern at a recent escalation in fighting in Tigray a week after peace talks in South Africa were announced but finally postponed. The federal authorities of Ethiopia are saying government is compelled to take defensive measures to protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country in the face of repeated attacks by rebels in Tigray in active collusion with hostile foreign powers. The United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres has warned that the war was spiraling out of control. But Redwan Hussein, the National Security Advisor to Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, snapped back at the United Nations Secretary General's remarks, saying, I quote, "It was spiraling when being expanded to other regions. Now it is just being extinguished and degenerating. Aid and services to Tigray to follow soon." Close quote. Redwan also underscored the government is making decisive military gains. He further said that Ethiopian forces strictly adhere to international humanitarian law and strive to avoid fighting in urban areas to avoid civilian casualties, referring to strict instructions were given to reinforce this commitment. The government is waiting for the African Union to announce a date for peace talks to start. At the same time, Addis Ababa called on civilians and humanitarian actors to stay away from military installations of the Tigrayan rebels, who have an established pattern of using civilians as human shields and civilian installations for military purposes.
The French ambassador to Ethiopia, Remy Marisho, expresses his government's support to the AU-led peace talks between the federal government of Ethiopia and the terrorist TPLF. Talking to the Ethiopian news agency, the ambassador says the issues should find solutions through negotiation. While conferring with the ambassador, a deputy president of the ruling Prosperity Party, Adam Farah, pointed out that Ethiopia is committed to resolving the conflict through peaceful means, adding the international community should put pressure on the terrorist TPLF. Haptama Shagri has more on that.
Deputy President of Prosperity Party Adam Farah and the French ambassador to Ethiopia Remy Marosh held discussion on various issues. During their discussions, the French ambassador to Ethiopia Remy Marosh told Ethiopian news agencies that France is ready to support the EU-led peace talks.
We also discussed the perspective of the upcoming negotiations to be started in South Africa between the government and the TPLF. We have always considered that there is no sustainable, lasting military solution to the conflict, and that the conflict should find a solution through negotiation. So once again, I'm very thankful for the time the Vice President dedicated to me and my delegation to have an exchange of views on this very important subject.
Prosperity Party Deputy President Adam Farah on his part said the discussion is critical to brief Ethiopia's position about the northern conflict. According to Farah, the federal government of Ethiopia is urging France and EU condemning belligerent TPLF inhuman and heinous act in the northern parts of the country.
የሰሜን ኢትዮጵያ ጦርነትን በሚመለከት ያላቸውን ኮንሰርን አንስተዋል.
They raised concerns related with the northern conflict in Ethiopia. As Prosperity Party, we are prioritizing and ensuring our commitment to solve problems with peaceful manner. They are recognizing and appreciating our position. We are also discussing the conditions prior to the third fresh attack orchestrated by TPLF. We have briefed how the belligerent TPLF ignores the peace offer offered by the federal government. We call France and EU to pressure TPLF to accept the peace alternative in the near future. They are also confirmed to us that they will call on TPLF to solve disagreements.
According to Farah, if TPLF is ready to solve the conflict in peaceful manner, the government of Ethiopia is committed to provide humanitarian assistance to the people of Tigray. Farah noted the discussions were fruitful in various regional, continental and international issues.
Leaders of various political parties have paid a visit to the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. They say the colossal dam being built on the Abai River is the bond of nation's solidarity. The politicians underscore that the GERD remains uniting all Ethiopians even while the nation is sinking deeper into polarization.
Honestly speaking, I have by no means felt such happiness and merry-making as of today. Ethiopians with their cash have devotedly constructed this Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, venture successfully. And for me, it's a very awesome venue to be right here and look at it lively, which makes me proud.
They added the dam is a national treasure beyond politics, and as such, it lays the foundation for constructing tomorrow's Ethiopia. Have a listen to this.
This dam is beyond politics and political imaginations. It was the aid of the nation. This dam solves some distance absolutely flows from right here to some place outside Ethiopia each year. So it's a miracle for me to examine Ethiopians' tremendous success being united for the dam to be reached from this level. Thus, the subsequent generation ought to attempt tough to uplift the development and diversity of Ethiopia, narrowing the political gaps and differences, if there might be any.
The political parties have also resolved to work aggressively toward ensuring unity.
It fills me with pleasure to get the opportunity to have a look at Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam being here today. Thus, the outstanding achievements have come real with the regularly occurring public energetic participation. Having the chance to go to the outstanding Ethiopian Renaissance Dam where Ethiopians left their legacies is something splendid and placing variations apart. In fact, focusing on issues that are a countrywide image and countrywide development is a large contribution to creating regional connectivity in unison.
Moving on, a delegation led by the Minister of Defense Abraham Balai is participating in the India-Africa Defense Dialogue, which is being held in Gujarat. During the occasion, Abraham expressed his belief that the dialogue will help to strengthen the existing partnership and enhance defense cooperation, as well as pave the way for Ethiopia and India to explore new areas of convergence for mutual engagement. Balai also elaborated on the efforts of the government of Ethiopia to find a peaceful solution to the crisis in the northern part of the country. The Minister of Defense of India, Rajnath Singh, has thanked the participants for attending the dialogue and reaffirmed India's commitment to enhancing cooperation with African countries. The World Food Programme meeting kicked off in Rome, Italy, under the theme of Healthy Diet and Healthy Planet. Ethiopia's delegation, led by the Minister of Agriculture, Omar Hussein, is participating in the forum. In the report of the Agriculture and Food Organization, it has been indicated that in 2021, 828 million people in the world are affected by hunger, while 3.2 billion people do not have access to healthy diets. Thus, ways to ensure food security to achieve a better food future for all, leaving no one behind, is the key goal of the discussion. At the forum, Ethiopian representatives are expected to share the success of stories of the Green Legacy Initiative, irrigation-based wheat production in lowland areas, and other agricultural activities.